Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Review. We've got the brands out, which can mean only one thing. Someone sent us whiskey. Again.
Yes.
The fools. It's Waiheke. They've done it a second time.
Yeah, one of New Zealand's most exciting newer distilleries.
Certainly the most exciting one for us because they send us some samples,
Yes.
which goes a very long way to getting a whiskey featured. Hint, hint, everyone else out there. Now, it won't, however, guarantee you a good review. That one can only be done with quality whiskey, which we're hopefully going to sample some of today.
Oh, yeah.
So, starting from the very top, see if I can do this elegantly, with their, again, beautifully packaged. Look at that. Look at that. Beautifully packaged sampler here. Whoa. Well, these are tasting menu.
Indeed.
So we have 4 from Waiheke today, which is the more or less the length and breadth of the range, and then a couple of single cask samples for something a wee bit more exciting at the end. But we are going to be starting with something a bit peculiar, although not maybe as peculiar as you think. We'll give you a look at inside the box here.
Third tasting set from Waiheke. Another quartet of new and some young, some older whiskies. First we have Fairlight. This one is a bourbon cask whiskey. It is almost rarely for Waiheke not a single malt. We have a blend.
It's rare on 2 accounts. It's a blend, and it's an international blend. This one, if I've interpreted correctly, leverages British grain whiskey, could literally be North British, it's one of the big producers, and some of Waiheke's own peated single malt. And the reason, because this might sound like an insane way of making whiskey, but remember 2 things. One, we don't have any grain distilleries, to my knowledge, in New Zealand, not big production ones like they've got in Britain. And so it's really pretty expensive to make grain whiskey down here, especially making good quality grain whiskey. That and the scale of production and cost of it is so much more skewed down here. Just making anything this far away from everything is always going to cost more money. And so for distillers, you can actually you can get spirit on the table a lot cheaper by getting it all the way over from the old country and get more whiskey, more whiskey in cask, more whiskey in bottles when your production is naturally throttled by the nature of our country.
It's the grain mix here. We've got New Zealand peated malted barley from Gladfield, the classic, and then there's distiller's malt and wheat. Which would be the grain element for wheat especially. Bottled at 40% ABV after around 5 years of maturation in a bourbon cask, 2019 through 2024.
Indeed. Give them a wee look at just the absolute granularity of the tasting.
Excellent details of what yeast was used to ferment it, how long it fermented for, and even the spirit on and spirit off measurements. I assume that's what it comes out of, is still that? Then what goes into the cask.
That could be the cut points there, I think. Yeah. So just about everything you could possibly want to know. And having it all in one place, that's 30 minutes scrounging around on the internet gone. That's amazing. So yes, props to that one. And so what we have here is a pretty light whiskey, as one would anticipate, bottled at 40%, so very sort of, contemporary presentation there. And very, very light on the nose.
The New Zealand malt in here is peated, so it'll be a bit of that lovely New Zealand peat that I rave about every time we try it. I can smell that too, a lush and green and mineral loamy forest floor.
Now Dave, your bandit of a coffee cup is once again on my screen. Get it out of there. There we go.
Alas. There.
So the peat definitely comes through. It's that soft, it's that signature Southern peat. Which Waiheke is all about, and increasingly so. But we'll talk about that as we go through the other drams. But that's very much there, and so is the grain. It's got that crisp, refreshing, grainy sort of quality of young grain. I forget what it escapes me. I was raving about a single grain whiskey that was had real hallmarks of mature grain. This is vibrant and fresh, clean, young grain whiskey, which is a very different thing. And otherwise, reasonably simple in the aroma, but on the palate, let's see.
Oh, that is sweet and light, but with just a bit of a tang from that peat.
Yeah, that That is a very... I was about to call it prickly, but that implies that it's harsh. No, it's more of a tang
it's
almost. It's
crisp and light. Yeah, it's like the fresh squeezed apple juice of whiskey in there. It's got a bit of acid, a bit of bite, but it's also cool and clean and palate cleansing.
There's a bit of the lift that it has, the zing that it has, is a little bit like it's a salt and vinegar chip energy. Kilkerran can present this sometimes in their heavily peated whiskies. It's the other place I've seen it, but this one's definitely got that real active energy.
The peat is there, but it's so well balanced and kept in check that it's part of this just downright refreshing summery dram. That is remarkable. And what it doesn't have, though, is any of the harshness, the strong chemicals, the acetone, those other less favourable notes you often get from very young whiskey, especially young grain whiskey.
I'm getting an element of there's a little bit of acetone that you're always going to get with grain, but what it does demonstrate is, I'm not quite sure what the ratio is of malt to grain here, but the peat is 100% complete. Like the peat, there's no part of this that's thin in terms of intensity. And it goes to show how much, or rather how little, peated malt you actually need to fill out a profile of really anything. Be it part of a malt blend or single. The peated component can be pretty minuscule and have a huge effect. I'm tempted, or rather I would be tempted, to have this in a slightly cooler format. I don't know if you can see the sweat beads coming, but it's a bit of a warmer one today. And this one, and I would not recommend this because the Waiheke whiskey is pretty posh. You'd be better examples of this, but this would be that much more refreshing and quenching with an ice cube. It would be too naughty to even contemplate that. So don't do it.
In addition to that peat and the lightness and fruit, there's also some nice elements of honey and of some flowers too. Jasmine, honeysuckle.
Yeah, it's got
sweet flowers.
It's got space sidey blend type stuff going on. So almond oil, little bit of grassiness, but yeah, otherwise gentle floral with that wee little bit of extra peat.
Hints of the bourbon cask influence. This is just really scrummy. It is tasty and so easy drinking.
Yeah, if there was such a thing as a session whiskey, which there should not be, or rather I should not be allowed in the same vicinity of it, this would be a candidate. This is it's not hugely complicated. You don't need to approach this too cerebrally. This is just a good whiskey. This is a good whiskey to be in the background of a conversation, or otherwise just a period of time. You know, that's the soul of a session drink of any kind. It's just a part of its environment. It doesn't have to be the focal point. So scores, blend scores. Goodness, we haven't done blend in ages. To think of what the most recent point of relevance was. We certainly haven't done a blend with peat in it, especially not a dominantly peated one. I drink quite a lot of Black Label, in the off hours, but this is peated in a way more punchy way. This is like maybe a double black, in terms of intensity, or even an Ireland mist. I wanted to go really crazy, but it is very, very good. For blend scores, goodness me, it's probably a sound 87 for me, which is pretty jolly good for a no age statement peated blend. What do you think?
I'm going to go a little higher, up to 89. This is just smashing. It's not a huge flavour. I'm often taken in by bombastic, over-the-top flavours. What this one instead wields is some that deft fencer's precision of light hits of all these different flavours that all come together, all been restrained, measured, combined in just such a quaffable whiskey at only 40% ABV as well. It is a complete flavour.
I was never this deft on the piste, but I see what you mean. Right, well there we have it. That's the warm-up, and a good warm-up it was.
That is a fine start.
Now we're going to get into the serious stuff. If you would like to know more about these whiskies and Waiheke itself, I will have put the website in the comments as well, but I recorded an interview with their distiller, Patrick, and we go over some of the finer points of the processes in Waiheke and their current sort of the results of the refurb. Most people, when they think Waiheke, they will think of the iconic geodesic still. They have a whole new generation of much bigger, more conventional, full production scale stills in there, and it's quite the sight to see. They must be sitting on some of the biggest capacity, if not the biggest capacity, in terms of pot stills in the country, I think. So they the Waiheke bet has been made, Waiheke is going to be a thing. The money has been put down, so get used to seeing it. Hopefully get used to seeing us drinking it, which you certainly will over the next few days, because we've got heaps more, actually. All right, come back to us then. We will be
soon.
Right back.